Hey, I'm Timothy Alexander White, your host and spokesperson for Festival SC 2018, along with my co-host Carwana Dyson, all the way from San Francisco. And tonight we have another special guest on board, and this young man's name is Anthony Hamilton. He's a singer, songwriter, producer, all-around extraordinary kind of a person who has his own sound. So, brother, it is nice to meet you, and we're glad to have you here too.
Thank you. It's good to be here, man.
Saw you last night, and you just tore the house up.
Oh, thank you, man.
Is that what you used to, just tearing the walls off, the wallpaper?
I'm into reconstruction.
Oh, okay.
A little soulful reconstruction.
Okay.
What it is, you give the people, an experience. You take them away from the weekly jobs and obligations, and you give them a time to just embrace the music and embrace having a good time.
So I read that you started singing at around age 10.
A little earlier.
A little earlier than 10?
Yeah.
Did you
7, 8?
Did you when you started singing? Was that you were in church choir, or at that time did you know that you was going to have a career in music?
I was in church. Wasn't really leading a bunch of songs. I was a little shy, but in music class in school, and I just stayed in music wherever I could. Very early on, I knew I was going to be successful at singing. Just God gave me that gift and that burning, and He gave me that,
He gave you what you got.
Yearning to fulfill that, and He allowed it to happen.
Okay.
So over the years, being that you started so young, when was it that you came into the Anthony Hamilton sound? Because there's a particular sound you can't really quite say it's R&B or it's soul. It's kind of like an infusion of everything. So tell us a little bit about it.
I think over the years, just listening to stuff that I like the Al Greens, the Bill Withers, and then listening to Kenny Rogers and some of the country and blues, Buddy Guy. Just listening to all that in church, all the things that I loved, I had the opportunity to kind of emulate, and then doing that and finding myself, I think it presented itself,
You mentioned Al Green, so there's one of the things I even discussed with Carwana earlier about Al Green is that you remind me of Al Green. Now, not your sound or anything, but because you seem to have come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Al Green just came on the scene, Love and Happiness, and he just came out. He was there all of a sudden and just made a mark, man. And that's how it seemed to me. You weren't down under. We heard a little bit about you. You just kind of came to the forefront, man. And how does that make you feel, man?
Well, it feels good. Some people don't know the behind-the-scenes story. I was signed my first deal in '93 at Uptown. I used to open up for Jodeci, and from there I was bounced around from label to label, MCA to Atlantic, to so many different labels, and I got caught up in the business side of rebuilding some of those labels. It wasn't until 2003 when Jermaine Dupri, father, discovered me and took me to see Jermaine. And
well, speaking of Al Green,
that's when it started.
I also meant to mention you got your first Grammy Award with a project that you worked on with Al Green.
Oh, wow.
Yes, I did. I wrote and co-wrote 2 songs for Mr. Al Green, album called Lay It Down. And we won a Grammy in 2008 or 9, one of those 2.
Yeah, you worked with Jill Scott?
Yes.
And name some other people you've worked with.
Wow. Tupac. I've worked with Tupac, wrote Thug Life for Tupac. Donnell Jones. You Know What's Up.
You Know What's Up.
Lilo James. Worked with Gavin DeGraw, Shaka Khan, Buddy Guy, Line Boys of Alabama.
Just some of everybody.
Rick Ross.
Just somebody, everybody. Where were you when you first heard your song on the radio? Three-part question. Where were you? How did it make you feel? And what did you do when you heard it? Who'd you call? Who'd you tell?
I think I was in the barbershop. Back in the barbershop, and it came on. I used to be a barber. But this particular day, I was getting a haircut. And it was like, yo, that's you. That's oh my God.
Wow.
Turn it up. Let me hear it.
You remember what song it was?
North Carolina. Nobody Else. It's a song off of my first album that never really came out, off of MCA, called Ecstasy. And yeah.
So your musical journey, like, I know that you said you've been kind of bounced around from label to label in the beginning, like, but what has been your story along the way to get you to where you are today?
Well, grew up Charlotte, North Carolina, country boy, single family. My mom raised me pretty good. She did the best she could, and then she had a bout with life, and I ended up getting adopted to a family when I was about 15, and was raised there for 30 years maybe, and I had a child really young, Anthony Jr., who's now about to be 30.
All right.
And
well, you're just 32, right?
Same age,
He looks like he only about 32 years old. Yeah.
And throughout those years, those challenges of staying focused and staying out of trouble. So I went to barber school just to make sure that I had something to fall back on after graduating from high school. I used to work I used to be a cook at Waffle House.
Okay.
And just being that musical, just that musician in me, and wanting to make it happen. I would do talent shows. I would sing background. I sang background for D'Angelo, and I just immersed myself into any musical fabric that I could be a part of.
So when you're writing and creating, I know like the musical industry and like the sound has kind of like changed over the years. So would you say, because your work is very brilliant and it's genius, and I love your sound.
It is.
You're welcome. So would you say like you kind of follow the trends of the industry, or do you kind of follow your heart and create a lane for yourself?
I follow my heart and create a lane that's honest to me, and that's recognizable to my fans and the people who love music and love what I do. With what's going on now, I'm attracted to it, and there's some good music out there. I think being able to work with so many hip hop guys, from Rick Ross to Common and all these rappers, Busta Rhymes. I have that I get to be a part of what's going on now. And I get sought after from a lot of the younger rappers. And so that keeps me relevant in both worlds.
Yeah. Tell me this. One of the most interesting songs I have ever heard was Amen. Now, when I first heard that, I said, this is a stretch.
Yeah.
This is a stretch right here. This doesn't even go together, but yet it became a hit.
Yeah.
There's no other song I've heard where it seemed like it just opposite ends of a spectrum, and somehow you made it work and it became a hit. Because when I used to listen to it, I'm like, this doesn't work. This is a stretch. He's trying to make this work and say something and describe and then put amen on it. But it worked. It worked. Tell me about how did that come together, man? How did that come together? What was the thought behind that?
Wow.
Babyface. Yeah, he's been here before too. We've had him.
And he's just genius. He's just genius. I had a totally different idea for the Amen, and he took it and made it into more of a classic. And I'm grateful that he did, and I'm glad it was a stretch.
Yeah, I apply that song to my situation with my with my wife, my new wife now. I can see that happening. Cooking, getting good, and getting good.
It's something to be thankful for,
Yes, it is. So what are you looking forward to doing now? What's next for Anthony Hamilton? I mean, you've got some Grammys. You're very well acknowledged. You've got a lot of accolades, and you seem to be such a mild-mannered person, man. Such a wonderful guy.
Thank you.
So what's next for you? What would you like to do next?
Producing new talent, bringing in new talent. The Hamiltons are, first on my list to try to cultivate and produce and show them the way to get to the best part of their career. Writing for other people, writing movies, short stories, acting a little bit. My hat line, I'm definitely coming out with a hat line working on that now. What's first off, it's greeting cards.
Really?
Oh, nice,
That's interesting.
African American expressions.
Nice.
journals. I think people should take it serious to write down how they're feeling, what I'm feeling, and it's healthy, you know. So
So outside of being a music person, you still are that business person. And
you have to take care of business. Well, that ain't nothing else to sing about.
That's awesome. I like the fact that you're looking, because you don't really hear that a lot from a lot of artists, that they're looking to work with new talent. Because sometimes people close the door and they're like, it's just me. It's about me. But there's a whole nother generation, and it's real talent out there. So I'm interested to hear more about that.
So now, you mentioned you're a barber for something to fall back on. So now, if you weren't doing all the music stuff you're doing, would you go back to barbering? So the question is, what would you be doing if you weren't singing? Would you go back to barbering?
Cooking and cutting hair.
Okay.
Yeah, not at the same time.
Right.
But yeah, I'd be a barber still, own a few shops, and definitely would have something to do with food on the restaurant, which I'm still in the process of trying to figure that thing out.
Okay. Well, I know I'm going to give a shout out. I got a friend, his name is Larry Abrams. He lives in Texas. He owns several barbershops. So you can see Anthony Hamilton talk about being a barber, brother. So I just want to give you a little shout out with Anthony Hamilton right here.
Give me a boo.
Well, just keep making those hits and keep bringing us that beautiful music. Like I said, it's like none other. There's no other Anthony Hamilton. There's nobody else that sounds like you. So
that's true.
You hear you on the radio, and it's like, oh, that's Anthony Hamilton. Oh, he got another hit. Oh, that's awesome. And so,
thank you so much.
Keep creating.
People can hear you talking and recognize your voice in the crowd.
Oh, wow.
And speaking of your live show, his live show, if you've never seen Anthony Hamilton, I beg you to check it out, because you'll be greatly pleased. And you guys have a way that you connect with the audience. And I was talking with Caruana earlier. What is it in a song or about a song that makes a hit, that connects with people, to really draw them in? It's, you seem to be able to capture that thing, whatever it is, whether it's your own personal experience that connects with other people's experience. Because, so my question is, even though you write about your own experiences, are you able to write about someone else? Someone come to you and say, man, listen, I'm going through this is what's happening, this and that. Can you write a song that addresses their situation, even if you haven't experienced it?
Of course.
Okay.
I do that now. Every song is not directly my experience,
right,
but it's indirectly my experience. And I'm a people watcher, and I listen to people. Being a barber, you're somewhat like
exactly.
like a therapist, a counselor.
Right.
And so those stories and those experiences that I hear, you write about. And
so you got some songs already written that you're going to just start releasing, and you got to go in the studio and start?
I got tons.
Ready? Yeah, ready. Okay.
Tons of music.
Right. What comes first, the tune or the words?
It just depends. Each song has its own experience. You never really know. It just comes from a place that's beautiful.
Well, man, I appreciate you taking some time to talk to us. Not going to hold you long. We know that
thank y'all for
want to get some rest and some relaxation, and you can come back anytime, as far as I'm concerned. And what we're going to try to do is keep track of where you are. So anytime you're in my town, I just moved to Texas out of Los Angeles, California. I'll definitely come and make myself known if possible. Don't act like you don't know me when you see me now.
I won't do that.
All right. It's Anthony Hamilton. I'm Timothy Alexander White, along with Caruana Dyson. Thank you for watching Blue Tube Television. Peace. Oh. Yes, sir.